The city lights blurred through the tinted glass of the black limousine as rain tapped gently against it. Inside sat Ethan Hale, the youngest billionaire CEO in New York, known for his ruthless business tactics and his heart of stone. To the world, he had everything: power, wealth, luxury. But tonight, as the world celebrated Christmas, Ethan sat alone, staring at the empty seat beside him, the one his late fiancée used to occupy. He wasn't going to any party. He wasn't visiting anyone. He was just driving with no destination, trying to escape the emptiness that even his empire couldn't fill. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. At a red light, through the fogged glass, Ethan saw a small figure, soaked in the rain, holding an umbrella that was far too big for her little hands. A girl, no older than 6, was standing near the curb with a small suitcase. Her shoes were muddy, and her lips trembled as she whispered something to herself. Ethan frowned. "Stop the car," he ordered his driver. When the limo stopped, the girl looked up. Her eyes, big, brown, and full of a strange mix of fear and hope, met his. Ethan rolled down the window slightly. "What are you doing out here alone?" he asked, his voice calm but distant. The girl hesitated, then stepped closer. "I'm waiting for someone," she said softly. "Who?" My new daddy." Ethan's chest tightened for reasons he couldn't explain. "Where's your mother?" The girl bit her lip, looked down at her little shoes, and whispered, "She's gone to heaven. But it's okay. Mommy said someone out there still needs us." Then, with innocent courage, she leaned closer to his window and said the words that would change both their lives forever: "You need a wife, and I need a dad." The driver glanced back at Ethan in shock, but Ethan didn't respond. He stared at the little girl, trying to piece together this bizarre moment. But something inside him, something long buried, melted just a little. "Get in," he finally said. The girl's eyes widened. "Really?" He nodded. "Yes. But just until I find out where you belong." She smiled, a real, pure smile that seemed to light up even the dark, rainy night, and climbed into the car. Her name was Lila. And from that moment, Ethan's life began to change. Over the next few days, Lila filled Ethan's cold penthouse with laughter he hadn't heard in years. She talked to his housekeeper, rearranged his office desk with crayons and teddy bears, and followed him around the mansion calling him Mr. Serious Face. She would sit beside him while he worked, humming softly. Once, she left him a drawing of herself holding his hand, with the words written in crayon, "Me plus you equals family." Ethan had told himself countless times not to get attached. He hired private investigators to find her relatives, but no one came forward. She was an orphan from a small town, her mother had passed away, and her father was never known. He told himself he was just helping her, just until social services found a place for her. But every time he saw her smile, every time she hugged him before bed and said, "Good night, Daddy Ethan," something inside his heart broke and healed at the same time. Then one morning, his assistant walked in with a problem. "Sir, there's a woman downstairs claiming to be the girl's aunt. She says you kidnapped her niece." Ethan froze. Lila was in the kitchen, making pancakes, her favorite Saturday ritual. He went down to meet the woman, Clara, who looked nothing like Lila. Her eyes were cold, her tone sharp. "I want her back," she snapped. "You think just because you're rich, you can keep a child that isn't yours?" Ethan narrowed his eyes. "If you're truly her family, you can prove it." She showed fake documents, but his investigators later discovered the truth. Clara was no relative. She ran a shelter that used children for illegal activities, and Lila had escaped. That night, Ethan sat on Lila's bedside, watching her sleep. Her tiny hand rested on his, as if afraid he might disappear. He realized then that he couldn't let her go. Not again. The next morning, Ethan announced something that shocked the world: he adopted Lila. The media exploded. Billionaire CEO adopts orphan girl, but Ethan didn't care. For the first time in years, he felt like his life had purpose again, but fate had one more twist. At Lila's new school, he met her teacher, Sophia, a kind-hearted woman who understood children in a way few adults could. She was gentle, patient, and full of warmth. Lila adored her. Sophia and Ethan's paths kept crossing: PTA meetings, school fairs, piano recitals. Slowly, they grew closer. She saw through his walls, his pain, his loneliness. And Ethan saw in her the kindness he'd thought didn't exist anymore. One evening, Lila fell ill. Ethan stayed up all night by her side, terrified he'd lose her too. Sophia arrived, bringing soup and calm reassurance. As they sat together, watching Lila sleep, Ethan whispered, "I don't know what I'd do without her." Sophia smiled gently. "You won't have to. You're her father now. And, maybe one day, she'll have a mother too." Ethan looked at her, eyes full of emotions he couldn't express. The silence between them said everything. Months later, at Lila's birthday party, surrounded by balloons and laughter, Ethan knelt beside Sophia. "I used to think love was something that broke you," he said softly. "But now I know, it's what heals you." He took out a small ring and said, "Lila said I need a wife, and she needs a mom. Will you?" Sophia's eyes filled with tears as she nodded, and Lila clapped her tiny hands, shouting, "We're a family now." The guests cheered, but the real magic was in the three of them: the man who thought he couldn't love again, the woman who taught him how, and the little girl who brought them together with 7 simple words. As the story ends, imagine the camera zooming out, Ethan holding Sophia and Lila in his arms as laughter fills the once empty mansion. The rain outside has stopped. The city lights no longer look lonely, and if you believe in the power of love, second chances, and miracles that come in the smallest forms, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes that even broken hearts can find their way home again, because sometimes, all it takes, is one small voice whispering, "You need a wife, and I need a dad." Red Heart.